So once more, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here and be speaker on this conference. It's pity that it is not live and we cannot meet in person, but maybe next time, next year, we'll see. The topic that I would like to share some experience with you, as my host said, it's being agile with virtual teams. Lately, this topic is very, very popular, and after the COVID situation, it's even more popular and interesting. Interesting and leads to many, many discussions. But because the topic is very interesting, it is, at the end of the day, it seems that it is actually very hard to master virtual teams. My host, they said some few words about me, but also I can add that I've been in the IT field more than 14 years now, coming from the development dark side first, and then through the project management, and now I contribute as Agile Transformation Coach in Amadeus. But I also have one more passion about agile habits, because I believe that actually habits can help us not only in our daily life, but also in our work business. Also some feedback before we kick off the session. I would like to share with you what are my current teams that I'm working with. And in the center, you can see that there is the transformation team that I'm part of. In Amadeus, and we are 7 different team members from 7 different locations. So you can see I'm from Bulgaria, the only person from here. I have a colleague which is from Germany. I have a colleague from France. I have a colleague from Germany living in France. I have a colleague from India living in the States. I have another colleague from Spain. So we are so colorful. And all the other teams that I'm working with at the moment, you can see some of them are co-located, for example, in Bulgaria or in India or in France, but some of them are, again, with different nationalities inside. Again, Bulgarian guys, French guys, Indian guys from the States, from different nationalities. So this topic is very popular, or at least in my area, in the field that I'm working at the moment. Like a small icebreaker, and because I would like to have small interaction with you guys, I will kindly ask you to scan this QR code and answer the following 3 questions that you will see there. I will be sharing the page results after that, but I give you 20-30 seconds to scan the QR code and answer the following 3 questions. Does any of your team members use instant messages app with the mobile phone? Or does any of your team members answer emails from outside of the office? Or does any of your team members work from home at least 1 day or more days per week? So this will give us visibility if you guys also work in distributed teams or not. So let's take 20 seconds to scan the code. I see some results are coming. I will show the code a little bit longer to make sure that you guys have it. So the results are changing, but we can see the tendency that it is more on the left. So it means more yes. You have people working out of the office or texting from mobile or answering emails out of the office. And congratulations, you're working in distributed teams, as I am. So just to break the ice, again, I would like to watch with you together this short video. Just let me know, my host, if you can let me know if you hear the sound.
Sound is very low. Volume is very low.
Is everything okay with the sound?
Volume is very low. Yes.
Yeah. Is it better now?
Tyler?
No. This
Yes.
is Beth from my
Yes.
Oh, hey, Beth. How are you doing?
Oh, good. Yeah. Just making it.
Tyler?
Has joined the meeting.
All right, well, this is Trip. Who's here? Tyler's here.
Beth's here.
Okay, the purpose of today's meeting is to discuss the...
Yeah, I'll be able to do it in like 30 minutes. John?
Has joined the meeting.
Hi, John. Hi. I was just trying to go over the purpose of today's meeting, which is to discuss the deliverable. Tyler?
Has joined the meeting.
Sorry, guys, I got cut off. Is Paul here? Send him an invite.
Put in your access code.
No, that's your PIN number.
It should be a 9-digit number.
Try pressing the pound key.
Paul.
Has joined the meeting.
Any questions before we move on?
Yes, this is Beth. What's our best plan of attack for the second quarter?
Question
What
actually...
we should do.
Oh,
go ahead. Oh, I think
Well,
what we should do.
it
is
actually
really
depends on
diversify.
how you look at it, because the
really come.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I
I
think
think
Given sales,
what we
we're at
really-
a-
I think
Let me just say that...
Okay.
Great graph, John. Tyler?
Well, my main concern with the projections from year was that they're just insufficient. I mean, they're not even taking into account.
Did we lose Tyler again?
Hello?
John, are you guys taking distributions? John?
Oh, my bad. I was on mute. Let me start over.
So I've prepared a presentation. I'm sharing it with all of you. You should be able...
And many other cases like this one. I guess you guys end up in similar situations where someone has no network, or there is an issue, or someone is late. So now it is a daily business. It was daily business before the COVID for people working in distributed teams, but now it is a daily business for most of us. So just few trends before we really go into the details for the distributed teams and their issues and how we can actually help them. Those are the statistics before COVID, and here you can see that the remote work over the last 5 years increased 44%, and for the last 10 years was increased by 91%. And even more, over the last 12 years, the growth of the remote work increased 159%. And what happened last year after the COVID? Here you can see on the screen some figures just to have the feeling how this was increased. So if we compare March 2019 and March 2020, we can see that the increase was 300% more for the searches, for the keywords searches in Google for work from home and remote work. And also, of course, in the beginning, everybody starts searching for those keywords in Google, and it is normal after that to have a drop. But the end result, the comparison that we can make now for between November 2020 and November 2019 is that 1 year later, now we still have growth. We still have 125 more researches for the remote work keyword search, and for work from home, we have 173% growth. So this is 1 year later. Now we're used to work in COVID environment, and we still would like to continue doing on that. So this topic with the distributed teams is worth it to be discussed. In the beginning, when I applied for this conference, I was hoping that it will be a live conference and we will have the opportunity to play some games in live. And I had in mind origami game that it is very good to be shown and provokes a lot of discussions in live. So if you guys are interested I can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I can give you some directions how you can do it with your teams once you go back to the offices, or if you have the opportunity to meet your teams one day. But because now we're in this remote conference, I start thinking that it will be also good for me if I can leave you some useful tools that you can use with your team so you can experiment. But of course, so if you see this icon, it means that it is a useful tool. And because I know that organizers will send the presentation to you a little bit, will send the presentation later. So on the slides, I just marked the tools to be easier for you to find them. So what are the other topics that we need to discuss, except the tools? When I sat down to build the presentation, I thought, yes, communication, trust, culture, definitely. Those are the 3 topics that we need to discuss. But a few hours later, I decided that there are also around 5-6 other things that I would like to mention to you. So let's start with the communication and stay present to understand, to see what are the other things that I want to share with you. So first things first, communication first on the first place. You can see on the picture that we have different kind of communication. So on the bottom is this that we use documents and posters. Then we can use emails and letters, instant messages, low quality phone communication, telephone call, low video conferencing calls, high video conferencing calls, or face-to-face communication. And you can see that actually if you're on the bottom, the communication is poorer, and if you use one of the things from the top, the communication becomes more richer. So it's obvious that communication face-to-face is easiest, and it leads to great results. But unfortunately, for the moment, it's not possible. But we will understand how we can come to that a little bit later. Teams come. They should come together from time to time. They should communicate face to face. So it may seem paradoxically to say in talk on virtual team that face-to-face communication is still better than the virtual one. But when it comes to building relationships and fostering trust, an essential foundation of this effective teamwork is exactly the communication. So if you can't do it, it's not the end of the world, of course. And at the moment, it is not just because we do not have the budget, but we just are not allowed to leave our countries, for example. But if you can get the team together once per year or after the crisis, I really advise you on that, to do it. I hear a sound. Does this mean something or beeping? I hope not. So how to build effective communication? The communications are 3 types. So we have message communication, visual communication, voice communication. So for the message communication, I really recommend you to write short messages, formulate clear and precisely about which contains their core, and specify what the actions you expect from the receiver of the message. I will check here just for a second. Are you calling me or? I hear constantly calling sound.
Not sure if there is
okay.
No voice.
Okay, then I just continue.
Yeah, it's okay, please.
So as I said, for the message communication, try to be short, try to ask exactly what do you need. For the visual and voice communication, make sure that if there is nothing that you can say, mute yourself, allow other people to talk. Most of us, we have Scrum Masters or facilitators because it depends of the framework that we are using, but there is someone responsible that needs to ensure that every participant, every person participate equally on a call. And of course, I will appeal for cameras on. I know that now in the COVID, now we are used to work with pajama from time to time, but sometimes it's important to see our faces to build this communication. One thing that we can do, and sometimes when we have issues with the teams, with the communication in the team. So we can recommend to create communication charter. I know that this sounds like a project management tool, but in the Agile world, maybe it's just a Confluence page where we have some rules how the team can communicate. Is it the chat important communication and everybody, they need to read it, or the most important things will be up to date in the user stories? So this is a discussion that needs to take place in the team, and maybe just create a communication charter page on Confluence and make it visible to everyone, so it's clear what are the communication tools in the team to prevent any communication issues. I am a little bit in a rush. I'm sorry for talking so much and so fast, but I have really things that I need to share with you. So the next topic is trust. Building trust is not very easy. But here are a few things that you need to take into account if you would like to improve the trust in your team. So having a trust budget, travel and collocate frequently with the people, have this human connection, meet often, spend time together, work together, have social events together. Sometimes in my team, we are a team of coaches or people leading the transformation, but we also have this coffee break meeting when we play online games together just for fun. Work on few smaller topics or pilot topics with low risk of failure. So pair working is really recommended as well. Be genuine, honest and transparent. Don't be a salesperson. Take responsibility for mistakes and avoid the blame game. So nobody wants to see blame game in the teams. Be clear on what the common goal is. This is very important, and we'll be talking about a few slides later. So one of the tools that I would like to recommend you, and it was also announced in the summary for this talk, is let's get to know each other game that actually really builds trust in our teams. This is a workshop that you can have with your teams. So what is the trick here? The team members present themselves with their ups and downs. So we have two lines for that. Ups and downs are shown in our personal and our work life. So one line for our personal life and one line for our professional life. And then we represent when we have ups and when we have downs. And then each team member share for 10-15 minutes what happened in his life and personal and professional life. And people, they can discover many things for their teammates, and they become closer. So again, if you need more details or where to find the description of this tool, just let me know after the session, and I will give you a few links for that. But I really recommend to have it at least once in your team when you're new or the team is new, but find a proper timing to do it. Also, for the building trust, I would like to appeal that it's good to see also the perspective of Patrick Lencioni, and he also states that trust is in the beginning of everything. And if we do not have trust, the teams are actually cannot work good enough. So this is also one recommendation to understand how the trust is in the beginning of this pyramid here on the left. And if we do not have trust, we cannot prevent conflict, or we cannot commit, or we cannot be accountable or have mutual goal together. And just one more thing to tell you, I heard also Dave Snowden to talk about the cultural map, and I'm not getting into the details, but I also enjoy this cultural roadmap, because as you saw, I have distributed teams in different locations, but people also could be from different cultures. So I have an Indian guy living in the States, or German guy living in France. So we are from many different places, and this cultural map is really important to be taken into account. So building culture, how to create a team culture in a team that's virtual and global. So give your team these communication options that we mentioned a few slides behind. Make sure that everyone works everyone's works is worth it. And find opportunities to meet and encourage collaborative projects. As I mentioned, maybe work in pairs is also helpful for the people. So what else? Goals. I mentioned a little bit for the goals. So the first step for the goals is to set individual goals, and they should be aligned with the team goals as well. So keep in mind that virtual teams, they reach management crisis faster than the traditional teams because they do not have this relation as if we are in the office all together. And distance shakes the leaders and strengthens their desire of control. So leaders, they also would like to micromanage. But instead of control, the team needs a common goal. So if we set team goal that meets our individual goals, it will help us with everything. Doing that, you can use the questions who, why, who, and what, and after that, how. So the part of this is also an exercise. That's why I left here this icon again. So part of this exercise is to ask yourself 5 times, why do you want to achieve this goal? And the next question is how would you like to achieve it? Sometimes the goal is impacting many people and including stakeholders, senior management. And it is important to understand who exactly. And then you can go into the what question. And I have some questions that I usually ask to understand. Questions like what we can do to achieve the goal, what are the sub-goals, what are the milestones, what are the deliverables. So questions like that will help you to define what. And at the end, you need to move on and create a roadmap by asking the question how. So those exercises, again, I can give some directions if you need more details on that, this technique. And here I also would like to mention that it is good if you think from the perspective how to create your SMART goals, because SMART is another technique that means that we need to have goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And if we do all of that, and meet the team goals with the personal goals, I think that we will not have a problem with the team and their understanding what they're doing together there. Roles are also very important. So there are few workshops that you can create by yourself. And here I would like to ask you to appeal to recommend that you create workshops by your own, depending on your organizational needs. For example, in my case here in Amadeus, we have product owners from one side and we have business analysis guys on another side. So business analysis guys, they're part of the team as well, but sometimes it's not very clear for anyone what are the responsibilities of the product owner and what are the responsibilities for the business analysis guys. So we created our own workshop. Because we study what is the issue, what are the questions that need to be answered, and decided what kind of workshop we need to have with the guys in order to make them understand what are their roles and responsibilities. So the appeal here is, guys, create your own workshops depending on your organization. Another tool, which is quite interesting and I'm using, is this virtual questionnaire, VIQ for personality, based on the Carl Jung researches. If you guys have any interest on psychology, I have a master's degree on this work psychology thingy, and I'm interested in psychology of the people personally. This technique is based on the typology of the people. So different information can be extracted from these results, and questions that are answered are like, is there a team member with specific talent that you do not know? Or is there a room for improvements, and in what? Or how to behave in conflict situations? Or is he or she more of a leader or a lawyer participant in the game? So this personality technique also will help you to understand what are the interests of the people and where they have more room to improve themselves and could be added to their current roles. Motivation I had another talk on the motivation specifically, but just here one slide. So employees who are afraid do not give their best and can hardly be motivated. So people, they should not be afraid. People want to be involved, so try to share more knowledge and information with them. This creates an atmosphere of trust in the team when people are more involved. Clear goals, we said. This is also a motivator for the people to have those clear goals that we had a slide a few seconds ago. Appreciation. So people, they would like to see that we appreciate their effort, and they feel more comfortable, they feel motivated to give more if we appreciate their work. Competition. Teams love competition and challenges, but only in a positive environment and with enough support to have a chance to win. So this is what motivates people to move forward. For challenging purposes, the team must be motivated and overcome obstacles. And last but not least, celebrating success. As I said, will be the best if you gather with your team to celebrate success at least once per year. If not, you can do it online. Here I will leave for you later. We are short in time today, but a step-to-step guide, maybe a few questions that you can ask and understand what is the motivation in your team as well, because I have few slides to share with you now. Strength. What do you think? Strength. Is it important for the distributed teams? For me, it is important as well. So discover the individual strengths of the team, and you can discover the qualities of each team member and then develop an action plan to implement them in the work process. So people who have difficulty maybe ask the following questions. I usually have a small list of questions in order to understand what are the strengths of the people. So I usually ask questions like, what do you do best at your work? Or what energizes you and gives you pleasure? Or when do people come to you and ask for help? Or do you like to work with and often? What do you consider your strength trait? So questions like that in order to understand more people that you're working with. And I also use this resource map technique. There is much more hidden in people that they show. So you can draw resource map on the white wall, and you can, against each person name, you can put what are the where this person is strong, to understand what is the situation in your team and where people they can help each other, or where people they can gain more knowledge to become more independent and T-shaped as a team. So this resource map is also an amazing technique that you can understand what are the strengths in your team. And last but not least, because I am an Agile transformation coach and I see value in that, I think that sometimes we get to the point where, of course, we have conflicts, of course, we have problems, of course, sometimes managers, they want to micromanage. So this is the moment where you might see valuable the help of a coach who will come from outside and try to restart the situation in the team, try to understand what's going on there, try to help the people to reach their common goals and to clarify the conflicts, to help the team to resolve their conflicts. So coaching is important part. For example, here in Bulgaria, coaching was not very popular before, but lately, the last 2 years, for example, it becomes very, very popular. So now we see more and more job offers as an Agile coach here. And it was not something normal before 2 years for here. I'm not sure how many minutes we have more. Just let me quickly see. Just 2 minutes then. So I wanted to tell you as well that I know that we, on our daily business, we're all in some meetings like backlog refinement, sprint planning, daily stand-up, sprint demo, retrospective. If this is when you use Scrum, but if you're not using Scrum, maybe you adapt some meetings. For example, in Amadeus, we are using Kanban in some of the teams, but they also adapt. They also have daily stand-ups. They also have refinements. They also have demos, for example, once per week. So here, what I want to mention is for all of those meetings, it is very important if someone, of course, is sharing the screen, depending on the meeting. For the backlog refinement, the product owner is the one who should share the screen, but for the other meetings might be someone else. So again, one more time, if it is important, if you don't talk, mute yourself to make the conversation more pleasant for everyone without external noises. Scrum Master or the facilitator, to ensure every opinion is considered. I really also appeal for the cameras on, so we can feel more as in real environment, that we're in one room and we discuss everything face to face. And as I said, a few specifics. So for the backlog refinement, Scrum Master to make sure that estimations are organized, just 2 sentences more. And for the planning, product owner and the Scrum Masters are sharing the screen. For the daily huddle, just quick tips that you can add some filters on the board and rotate people that are sharing the screen.
Then,
and yeah,
if you don't mind, you have 7 more minutes.
Yeah, I have just 2 slides more.
Yeah, you have 7 more minutes, so you can be relaxed. Okay.
Okay. So thank you. So for the dailies, what I wanted to tell you here is that it's good if you have a quick filters on the board, and it is not the only person who is sharing this. It's not the Scrum Master or the facilitator, the only person who is sharing the screen, but maybe other team members, they also could do it from time to time. Maybe push the people to walk the stories on the board. It will be also good practice for the daily huddle. Again, on the left, you can see the facilitator to ensure everyone participates equally, because when we are on a virtual environment, it is very easy to hide. When we disable the camera, when we disable the microphone, it is very easy to become a little bit more invisible than if we are in a real room, in a real classroom environment. So this is also important. For the demo, here I just want to make sure that we all know that it is not the product owner who is presenting what have been done in the last sprint or in the last iteration or in the last segment, few weeks that we've been working, but it is everybody that are presenting their own work in front of the stakeholders. And if there is nothing to be presented, because sometimes if we overcommit or if the planning, if there was something wrong on the planning, sometimes teams, they do not have anything to present. We just walk on through the board, explain the stakeholders what's going on, and then only the team discuss during the retro meeting what went so badly. So they make sure that they have an action to improve this for the next time. Here, by the way, on the slides, you will see that there is a row with tools. And those are the tools that I've been using last few years. So I like Jira, Trello, Asana, Podio, Basecamp, and using some filters. So for each different meeting, you can see the tools that I enjoy to have. And the most interesting tools for me are here for the retrospective meeting. So I use usually Ideas Dashboard, Miro, Retinum, Retrium, Team Mood. You can see all the links here. And I recently found one website that it's full of tools that are for remote for virtual teams. It's collaborationsuperpowers.com. So you can find many tools for different meetings. Just a few recommendations also for the retrospective meeting. This is the one meeting where the Scrum Master needs to ensure every opinion is considered and heard. And maybe I also see value when the facilitator, the Scrum Master, experiment with different techniques. So different techniques for a retrospective, they might have different outcomes. So depending on the situation in the team, and if you feel that there is something specific, maybe issues with the communication, or this is a new team and you would like to understand if they have organizational impediments, or it is just Christmas and we would like to be more positive and do not want to focus so much on the bad things. So there are different techniques for the retrospective meetings that you guys can use, and it is good if you change it quite often. If you do not have ideas, of course, you can ask your team members if they know some techniques, or if you can ask your colleagues if they have other ideas, or if they experience something with other teams in your organization. And one more recommendation, sometimes most of the people are in one office. I have this case as well with some of the teams in Amadeus, and there is just one person remote or working from home or in another country. So make sure that this person is also visible and find a screen, project his face to the other guys, so this person could participate in the meeting as all the other guys. And don't forget, of course, the icebreakers. Icebreakers in the virtual teams are also very, very helpful. And there are so many tools and so many games that we can play with and help this virtual interaction. This was the last slide, and I would like to thank you. I hope you will find this helpful, and you will experiment at least with some of the tools that I've been using, because I know that at least those are that I'm talking about are working. And if you need more information, feel free to contact me on LinkedIn, and we can continue more in details for something specific if you need more info.
Thank you so much, Dinah, for the insightful on being agile with virtual teams. I could not see much questions, but still there is one question from the participants. That is, what is the trust budget?
What is the trust-based?
Trust budget.
Trust budget. Well, trust budget is could be money for team building in Hawaii. Could be something like that. I know companies that they have team buildings in different locations every year, and those locations are really, really nice. Like not Hawaii, but Spain, and nobody's from Spain. They just go there to meet each other. So trust budget is having money if we need to have any exercises or to meet or something to assist those initiatives that will build trust.
Thank you, Dinah, for answering the question. Hope. And
You're welcome.
I still see something. Could you please also suggest some icebreaker thing?
Suggest icebreakers for virtual teams, you mean?
Yeah.
What was the icebreakers that I've been using lately? Yes. So in our company, we also use whiteboard. And in this tool, sometimes I put the names of everyone in the team. And because I had my last experience is that we need to kick off brand new team, and people, they do not know each other. So the first icebreaker that we had with them was to understand what are their favorite places. So there were a few categories, food or restaurants, or where they want to travel, or what is their next plan for vacation. So we leave them 5 minutes to think and put the link to those places that are recommended. So we actually, at the end of this icebreaker, we have a list of restaurants from different locations. And if we one day go to Spain, for example, I will have the best restaurant recommended by my colleague and maybe some pictures that I can find on Google. Things like that. Or we have one game online. There are some games that you can play with the team. Somebody is writing down a word, and others, they start drawing the word without telling it. But the other guys, they need to. Some of the guys, they need to guess what is the word. So if I put the word sunshine and I start drawing sunshine, my teammate need to understand that I'm drawing sunshine.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you. And I can say there is one more question. If we can take this up, this is the last question.
Sure, I have 24% battery of my laptop.
Most common problem in virtual meetings, team members won't respond. As a Scrum Master, I again and again, or call out names explicitly to get a reply. Any ways to tackle this issue?
I couldn't hear because there was noise. So some people, they do not respond in the meeting. Is that the meaning? The meaning?
Yes. And the Scrum Master needs to ask again and again for the same.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I have these situations as well. And yesterday I had retrospective with one team. And usually I'm not the Scrum Master. I'm Agile Transformation Coach, but I was there on behalf of their Scrum Master. So we had retrospective with those guys, and they were quiet, right? And then all of them, they need to present, because the retro that we were doing, it was write a story with the words from my perspective. I do not want, I want to stop doing that, but I want to continue with that. So it should be like a small story. And I said them, yeah, it's now, do we have volunteers? And there were no volunteers to present their stories. And this time, for example, I was like, yeah, if we have volunteers, or we just do a round table. So sometimes you need to be tough. Sometimes maybe you use techniques like round table to make sure that everybody are talking. That's why I have on the slides, make sure that everybody are talking. We are there to work. So at the end of the day, it's our job to be present in the team. I know that some people are frustrated of Agile, of Scrum, of many meetings. They don't want to talk. But techniques like roundtable, for example, makes them talk.
Right.